Hey Crunchy Fingers! Today we are gonna talk about a shoot that we did a couple of weeks ago. Somewhat more experimental kind of shoot. We got ahead and we were able to meet up with a model to do somewhat of a creative portrait shoots on film, which is something that neither Jimmy and I had done before. I have the final photos here with me and I want to just go through them and talk to you about our experience. And we were getting some inspiration looking online, looking on Instagram, and we came across a model from France that she was preparing to come to Stockholm, our area, for a couple of weeks to work with a lot of photographers. She does a lot of different work, a lot of modeling with different photographers, and if you are interested to check out all the different things that she does, you can check her Instagram with this handle. She was super pleasant to work with. She didn't stress us out in any way. We were, kind of newbies doing this kind of work. She also got experience to work as a model with film instead of digital, which is what she has done a lot. We wanted to just take a bunch of gear and see what we can do with the material that we have. We took the Mamiya RB67 with the Polaroid back. We took the Mamiya RZ67. We took the Mamiya 645 Pro. This looks like a Mamiya advertisement, kind of. We took also our trusty Yashica T3 as a point and shoot to get some mood behind the scenes type of shots. For the lights, we actually didn't have strobes, like professional studio strobes to rig with us, but we had these video lights. Right now we're using 2 of them and we are shooting at ISO 200, 1/50th of a second at 1.8 with an ND filter, so you can get an idea of how much light these lights give. So we brought those along with us, as well as a Mets flag, as well as a Mets flag. What? And we also had a portable flash with us, a Mets one. For the beginning of the shoot, we wanted just to get acquainted with each other, and we decided to shoot some Polaroids with the RB67 with the Polaroid back. And unfortunately, those shots kind of came at a little bit overexposed, although it's kind of a look. Very dreamy, for sure. It was kind of fun for her to see something very different. She was like, "Oh, how are you measuring the light for this?" And because the RB67 is very manual, so you had to, get all the settings manual. So we had our Pentax spot meter to measure the light, and then it's kind of cool how the photo comes out immediately. And she was like, getting into the vibe of shooting film through these first Polaroids. Because the LZ70 shots came out a little bit overexposed, we had the idea that light was enough outdoor. We were in the balcony, and we're lucky that there was a very nice park right by the place we were at. It wasn't raining, it had stopped raining for the day. Outdoors, we shot 2 rolls. One I shot with the Mamiya 645 Pro, and Jimmy was working with the RZ67. I wanted to go a little bit experimental. I had worked with the Mamiya 645 Pro and the LomoChrome Metropolis for another video that you can find here. And I had the idea, after seeing the results of that film, that I wanted to try it for portraits as well, because I thought it could actually be kind of cool and moody to work with it. So I put a roll of Metropolis in the Mamiya 645. Actually, they have their own vibe. They're kind of cool. And the Mamiya 645 Pro, I was shooting mostly wide open at 2.8. It does really good. And for the clothing that she's wearing and the mood outdoors with the trees, I like it how it came out. It's a creative film, so you can rate it from anything between 100 ASA to 400 ASA. In this occasion, because we were in the end of the day and the light was not going to be that much, I decided to rate it at 400. The results are slightly different than what we got last time. I'm not sure if the differences in the results here with the Metropolis are because it was rated at a different ASA, or it could be because also for developing of this batch of rolls, we try a new technique. We changed the temperature that we were using the chemicals at, and we also changed the tank that we were using. So we are not fully sure if the differences that we're seeing on the results here on the developed film is because of the way we shot it, or perhaps because the way we developed it. This is the only roll of Fuji Pro 400 that Jimmy shot that day. The rest of the rolls that he put through the RZ67 were Portra 400. Rating it at box speed, like we did for both of these films, instead of overexposing like a lot of people do 1 or 2 stops for these two films, rating it at 200 instead of 400. In this case, it was a low light situation. We work with the slow cameras. We like to rate it at 400 at box speed. We realized that in post it was much easier to work with the Fuji shots than with the Portra ones. So we kind of hoped that we had shot more in Fuji than in Portra. After being outdoors for a little while, we ran out of light, so we went back indoors to the apartment, went with 3 different looks or 3 different kind of photos, so to speak. Right when we came back out, the sky was dark but still had some bluish tint, so we thought it would be really cool to try to get some shots of her with the sky in the background. So we took some photos of her in the balcony late at night with a key light behind her and a lot of our lights from the inside of the apartment. We continued with that autumn look, so we decided to just give her a couple of leaves that would fit really well with her dress. These photos are kind of interesting. The idea with this was that we were going to match kind of the light from outside that was still in the sky with the lights indoors. But we realized that then we had to use very slow shutter speeds, not enough to shoot handheld. So we had to increase a little bit more the light coming in from the inside, what make us not to see the sky so much as we were kind of hoping for. But I'm quite happy how this turned out. It has a natural feeling. It's like someone that is just sitting in the balcony at night, relaxing with the light that is coming in from the apartment. So it doesn't look too out of place. This apartment was listed as the pink apartment in Airbnb, and it's because all the walls were painted pink. There was a lot of pink accents in the decoration and in the bed, and it had a very big painting bolted in the walls that was kind of abstract and very cool to take photos of. That's kind of the first thing I saw when I saw the listing. So she changed clothing to a blouse that was very soft and very nice color, contrasting with the colors of the mural, and we took some shots right there in front of it with the Mamiya 645. This, I really like how they came out. I love how the Mamiya can do so well for portraits. This particular shot that you're seeing here, I love how the focus is locked on her eyelashes and her eyes and her gaze, which really gives you this powerful feeling when you look at it. And I mean, the painting behind it kind of does it all, you know. It's so pleasant to have it there, out of focus, framing her face, and it fits really well with her red head, the greenish mint blouse that she's wearing. It's a really, really nice shot over here. We played a little bit with different poses, her moving her hair here and there, looking some other way, try to get some of the catch lights behind as well from the other side of the painting. All in all, I think these are a very cute set of pictures with the painting as well. As I mentioned, the pink walls and the pink accent and the pink vibes were high in this apartment, and we wanted to take that to our advantage. So we did 2 things. One, we asked her to wear something contrasty with the pink, and she chose very nice blue top that you can see here. So the pink walls, the pink bed, fit really well with her redhead hair and her very pinkish tone of the skin as well, red lipstick, and then you have this accent of the blue top. They really came out super nice, super soft, and give you a completely different vibe than the photos that we saw before with the painting. My favorite of this one, a little bit different angle shot from the bottom near the bed, so she's looking very powerful at the camera. The focus is nailed on her eyes, and having that hand framing and out of focus, it just gives it a really nice composition overall. It's my favorite shot of this set. Continuing with the pink vibe, but getting perhaps a little bit more creative, we have a set of shots that Jimmy decided to go perhaps a little bit more like over the top in the editing to get like that even more pink overall vibe that you can see here. For these ones, she decided to include a headpiece in the shots to bring a little bit more of variation, and also because these were going to be very head-on portraits and it's just gonna be her face and her head basically. Having this element in the frame, it really cuts through all the pink colors and the pink tones that the shots have. This one, it's powerful AF. It's just her looking straight in the camera and drawing you into the photo. This one is one of my favorites of these shots. This one, she's like kind of cute, but like hiding behind this element in the camera. And again, the focus is dead right in the good point. It's the RZ67. That's really well for portraits. And this one, I decided to include it, even though it's a little bit perhaps interesting to look at. I think the fact that there is not a clear focus point and that she is not focused on the camera, it makes it feel like it's an outsider shot. She's there enjoying herself, being part of the photo shoot, and then there is this capture on a moment in between photos, just her enjoying moving around and playing with the elements that she's using for the photos. So to me, this one has a lot of feeling in it, and I think it's very nice work by Jimmy here. We then wanted to move away a little bit from the typical portrait head-on headshot, do something a little bit more crazy, creative, or different in this case. We had the idea that perhaps we could use a sheet of fabric or an element in front of her and use a light from behind, so we could create cool shadows and then photograph those shadows rather than photograph her directly. So it would be more like an impression of her movements and an impression of her in the sheet of fabric and then into the photo. We did this in two ways. We did it with a continuous light as well. So one of the bulbs that we had outdoors, we brought it to the corner and we shot handheld continuous lighting. But since we had also the handheld MET flash, we decided why not we also put the flash in the corner, and we tried to do the same thing but shooting with the flash. Here, these ones that you're seeing right now are done with the continuous lighting, and because it was not going to be her directly seen so much, we told her to, you know, use the hands and move around, try to get some creative poses in order to do like cool shapes in the shadows. And these are really cool. This one in particular, it's super interesting because it looks like there's two different people at the same time. This is not a double exposure, this is just one shot. See her and then you can see the shadow, and because you cannot see her arm in herself itself, it looks like two people, and it's like really cool. And then here looking to play with the hands a little bit, and because we had also those leaves that we were playing with before, we thought it would look cool to just bring the leaves into the shot as well and play with it. And here we have one where she's playing with it, and then this other one. And this one, it was shot with a flash, so you can see that the light is very different. And I really love that you can still catch a little bit of the color of the leaf itself, something that we were not seeing in the ones before. By this time we were already shooting for 3-4 hours, and we didn't want to drag on the shoot so much longer, but we didn't want to leave without trying some black and white film as well. So we put a roll of Ildford XP2 through the RZ67. We decided to use this film because it's a C41 black and white film, so we were able to develop it all together with all the other rolls that we shot previously in the day. We continue to shoot the shadow look and the shadow shots with this film at the beginning. Here you can see one that I love because you can get an impression of her big tattoo of a tree that she had in her back. Also the shapes of the arm coming into the hair and the hairband. And I really love how this film has rendered the texture of the sheet that we were using to create the shadows, because it kind of feels like she is maybe inside a cloud or something like that. It is like super nice texture that this film was able to capture from the material that we were using. This film is ASA 400, and we were really happy with the results of this film rated at box speed 400 and the lights that we had available and shooting handheld. Have in mind that here during the whole shoot we were shooting at the lowest speed that we could do handheld, maximum aperture 2.8 for these lenses, rating the films at box speeds 400. Even sometimes we try to go lower in the speed, but a lot of the shots came out just downright too shaky because, you know, even though these cameras are heavy and they're stable, if you're shooting at 1/15 of a second, you have to have really stable hands and body to not get any camera shake. So we are really happy with the results of this XP2 at the speeds we were using. Here we went back to get some headshots and some portraits as well with the headpiece that she was wearing before, and you can see how, using the lights that we have, it's very nicely lit and very good contrasty results on the portraits as well. So this is a very nice stock to work for portraits, I would say. So what have we learned from this shoot and from this experiment? Well, I would say above all, we have learned about working with lights. A truth is that working with strobes and with flashes is something that it might not be available to everyone. Strobes and flashes are expensive. They need a lot of learning, a lot of testing, because you are actually not seeing how the photo is gonna turn out while you are working with it before taking the shot. And of course, working with digital, that's easy. You just take a lot of shots, you see the results. But with film, it's not like that. So we think that working with continuous lighting, with bulbs like we did in this shot, is an affordable way for people to do indoor shoots and portrait shoots. And this was one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to you about the shoot that we did. We're gonna tell you the lights and the bulbs that we have used in this shoot. One of the first challenges that we came across while choosing the bulbs for this shoot was that we wanted to have first enough light, but also a pleasant white balance for the shoot. We wanted to have warm light for the shoot. It was difficult to find a strong warm LED for a bulb. We found this bulb that is 4000K natural white. It's not technically warm, but it's warmer than the strong fluorescent lights that we had previously for video shoot. And it has 2100 lumens, which is the strongest we could find on the warmers that we could find. Then we had these Osram bulbs that are 2700 Kelvin. This is a warm white, but they weren't as strong. They were 1500 lumens. We ended up working with these bulbs most of the time to avoid mixing different color lights. We used this one for some of the shots, but mostly for the silhouette shoots, because we didn't really care about the temperature of the matching of the lights and the colors that it will give us. But we work mostly with these ones. And what we realized is, even though for our eyes this looks like this is a lot of light, when you are using film 400 as a film and having 2-3 of these ones, it's really not enough to have high shutter speeds. We were mostly working all the time with 1/30th of a second, 1/60th of a second, kind of pushing it. We also tried to shoot 1/15th of a second. A lot of the shots came out a little bit blurry because of camera shake. So one take-home message is you can work with continuous lighting, but you have to be sure that you have enough light to shoot comfortably, especially if you're not gonna shoot with tripod and you wanna shoot handheld like we did. These lights might actually give you enough light if you don't soften them with umbrellas like we actually did in our shoot, but we recommend that you do use some sort of softbox or umbrella, because it gives much even light and much softer light in your subject, and it actually looks quite pleasant. For our experiment and our work with discontinuous lights, we think that next time we go ahead and do this kind of work, we are going to try and see how it works with the fluorescent lights. We already have 3 strong fluorescent bulbs, 5500 Kelvin, that came with the video kit, and we might just go ahead, take a couple of shots with it, and then see how we can compensate and color correct in post. The important thing is go ahead, see your options, try to have enough light. That's important. We recommend also softening the light like we did with these umbrellas or soapbox, and with that you will be able to get similar results to what you have seen today in our video. Anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button below, and of course subscribe for many more photography videos here at Crunchy Fingers. Bye!